The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.
Family-owned Palermo Pizza underwrites this episode of Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters Paranormal Podcast, located at 901 Gazan Parkway, Southwest Wyoming, and available at 616-531-8300.
We hear things in the deep, dark night. We see things in the shadows, in the corners of our eyes. In mind and dim light, we sense things when they just aren't right. Our dealings are not with human flesh and bone, but rather with an essence that defies even the basic laws of nature, like space and time. These elusive selves challenge our logical mind, forcing us to take faith in the unseen, the unsubstantiated. We cling to theory, statistical inevitability, and the imminent manifestation of mystery. My mindset paints a paranormal portrait, pulling together puzzle pieces to create a mosaic of the mysterious that's magnified and amplified by my fondness of a collective consciousness. Even so, I am showered in testimony and a supernatural storm of insurmountable speculation. And so I am humbled in my search for the truth. Still, I know it's out there somewhere. Brought to you by WKTV, I'm your Ghost Hunters host, Wayne Preston Curtis Thomas. Welcome to a very special episode of Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters Paranormal Podcast. As always, we ask that you please keep an open mind about things that you might not easily believe as we explore the mysterious. First of all, let's meet my co-host. Zooming in from Byron Center, Michigan.
Brandon Jose of Jose Paranormal History Productions YouTube channel.
And zooming in from Holland, Michigan.
Hi, Kim Colleen here. Been with Wayne for over 2 years now with Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters Paranormal Podcast. And after tonight's show, Brandon and I will be continuing this legacy.
Yep.
Right, pretty much 3 years we've been doing this
3 years
together.
Okay.
Right. And then I want to start out with a quote, which I like quotes. You guys know that because you've all been on the show. Albert Einstein said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. So I'm going to show you what that mosaic of the mysterious looks like. This is what it looks like. These are my guests, our guests here on the last show, my last show. It's a farewell show. It's also a reunion show. So, okay, well, let's start with Tanya.
Hi, I'm Tonya Geier-Seger, spiritual medium, I guess, intuitive spiritual advisor in the not so frozen north, since I'm actually the lower than all of you, except for our friend in England over there.
All right.
I'm from Ohio.
Yeah, you don't win the award for zooming the farthest. And actually, we are missing somebody from Arkansas was supposed to be joining us too, but they haven't checked in yet. Marie?
I am Marie Cisneros. I live in Muskegon, Michigan, and currently I'm a paranormal writer, investigative journalist, former UFO hunter with MUFON. And so I'm writing a book called Haunted Muskegon.
Right. We can't wait for the release of that, Marie. I billed you as a triple threat because you were into numerology. You're a numerologist, astrology, and ufology. At the time, you're into all that stuff at the time. So, Kathleen Rydel Tedsen.
Yes, I'm Kat Tedsen. My friends call me Kat. I am an author of Haunted Travels of Michigan book series, as well as Stepping into Darkness. I do a lot of research and paranormal investigations, and it's great to be here, Wayne.
And yeah, Stepping into Darkness. I didn't bring all my books with me, but this one I brought because I kind of used this one as a textbook along the way. So
Thank you.
Laura Briggs, also many facets to you, many layers.
Yes, that's true. Yes, I am a huge, I love astrology. I'm an intuitive, also empath, medium. I work with a lot of different clients. I'm trying to connect the past life, things for them. And astrology really is my wonderful favorite tool to use. I think it's so great for insight into what's going on in the big cosmos and also what's going on in your inner cosmos. So,
right.
And I love it. I met Wayne through another friend of mine, and it's been really fun. It's great. I love the work that you guys do, and I so appreciated the time I was able to be on your show. And best wishes for Brandon and Kim for going forward. Hope that it's everything you want. But
you guys got to help them out.
I know we're gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you.
Get booked. Get booked with Brandon and Kim. Help those guys out. Here's the chart that Laura did for me way back when. This is what your chart looks like if you're born in January. This is pretty cool. And you guys can see this better now.
Yeah, it looks good.
That was like a year ago. And what did you think, Wayne? Did some of that resonate? Did we hit some of that pretty good?
Yeah, but it's like a half an inch thick of material that you gave me.
I know.
Like, it read like a book. It was so much.
Well, I'm the Sagittarius sun, but I have my Mercury also right next to my sun. So I'm always about giving you information about you with my North Node and Gemini. So I'm a big information girl. It's always going to be information. Too much, too little. That's your choice, but I'm never going to lack in giving you something. So
Oh, no, you gave me plenty. And you said that the important thing was that the Scorpio was rising or something.
Yeah.
On my chart, even though I'm Capricorn.
Yeah. You are, but you had that ascendant, and that really helps you tune into some of those Scorpio things, like the occult and the secrets and the things that are untaught, people don't talk about, the taboo subjects. And I would definitely say that this might have been one of them, because ghosts are fascinating, but also frightening for a lot of people. So
yeah, a lot of ghost hunters. Ben Goldman, next.
Hi, I'm Ben from Afterlife Road, a Haunted Michigan web series on YouTube. And a few days ago, launched a new series, Afterlife Road Case Files. So I'm excited about that new venture. Bringing back some of my journalistic roots. We went back and found some incredible historical information that totally redefines and puts a name to a lot of the legends that gets told around Michigan that no one has seen before. So that's pretty cool. Got a movie coming out soon. That's pretty much me. Been on the podcast twice now, three times.
Well,
every time.
3 times.
Yeah, you're on Cryptic Frequencies also.
Right.
Yeah, right. And you were the first year, I think, on the show too. Started out. Not everybody was on the first year, but you were. You're doing your movie, you got your podcast going, and then Afterlife Road still is your team.
Yep. Exactly. That.
Very busy. You guys are all stay very busy. That's why you're on the show, because you get my attention. Exie Susanne Smith.
Hello, I am Exie Susanne Smith, and I am, oh my gosh, let's start. I'm an author of 4 books. I know it grows, as you grow, it grows.
Oh, 4 books now?
4.
I'm missing one.
Yes, you are. The last one. We'll talk after. I'll get that to you.
Okay.
Reverend, a speaker, psychic medium, energy reader. Don't give me your watch or your phone or your lights. I'll kill them. A microphone too. I'm bad at those. Oh gosh, what else? Radio show hosts.
Fun person to hang out with, I think.
A Jill of all trades.
Gosh, you just, somebody offers you something, you're like, okay, because it's like, why the hell not? And let's try it and see how it goes. And if it's not for me, then I'm going to offer it to somebody else and say, I think this is a good fit for you. So try it and go. And if it works, fabulous. Have a great run. And I like to help people, and let's do it together. It's more fun to go together.
Yeah.
As-
I know
as a
you've
group.
done some ghost hunting. You've been
Yep.
involved with some smudging, blessing, that sort of thing, right?
A
You also
lot.
have many layers to Exie. And she has the coolest name. I think if there's a superlative, that's a very cool name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
It's a family name, a good old Southern family name.
Oh yeah, I love it. Bill Konkolesky. You got to be the most far out guest. I think. I don't know.
So yeah, I am Bill Konkolesky. I'm the state director for the Michigan chapter of the Mutual UFO Network. I've now held this title for 18 years, which is a while. And I always say that UFOs took an interest in me before I took an interest in them. My very first memory in life is a little gray guy coming up to my crib. And I've written a couple books about my experiences. My first book, Experiencer, Raised in Two Worlds, and then my second book, Experiencer, Two Worlds Collide, came out November 11th of 2020. And Wayne was kind enough to have me on the show on the day of my book's release. So thanks so much for that, Wayne. And so, yeah, so I spend a lot of time looking into UFO stuff, I guess. I do have a question for Tanya. Is that's either from the movie Labyrinth or that's the I-75 construction down there?
I would say you're pretty dang close to that I-75, but it's the Labyrinth. It's kind of what I'm channeling what the world's kind of in right now. I feel like we're all lost in a huge labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Bill. And my hat's off to Phil Shaw, our Bigfoot guy.
Yes. How you doing, Wayne?
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, I'm Phil Shaw. I'm the chairman of the West Branch Bigfoot Committee. West Branch is about 50 miles north of Bay City. I got involved in Bigfoot research since my wife and I saw one in New Brunswick in 2006. And since that time, when I started documenting incidents, up to 140 incidents, just in the six counties around West Branch. So, but we do mix it up a little bit. A bunch of us went to Kentucky here a couple of weeks ago to the Crypticon down there, 1,500 people. Did any of you guys go to that?
No.
That's
No.
I would say 80-90% Bigfoot, but a lot of UFO, other stuff, nice mix.
Yeah, I have some friends that are ghost hunters in Kentucky, but they won't be joining the show. I thought West Branch was the Bigfoot capital of the world, but you told me it's the Bigfoot capital just of Michigan.
Just of Michigan, right?
And
There's
you
some
think
great trails
probably-
out there for jeeping.
Oh
We
yeah,
we do.
out there all the time.
We got some great trails, St. Alan, West
Oh
Branch.
yeah, you
Yep.
do. There's some good stuff out there.
you know, Phil, the memory I have with you is your two grown boys that did the documentary on
Oh, okay.
Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah, the Shaw Bigfoot Project. Yeah, the first conference, or actually it was an expedition we went to up by Marquette. My two of my three sons went, and my brother and my one son put together a video. It's in 3 parts on YouTube. It's called Shaw Bigfoot Project, and I got
It's
a lot
funny.
of mileage out of.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
a lot of mileage. I mean, when you talk about Bigfoot, you need to keep it light anyhow, and people love the story. So,
Oh yeah, it is funny. I mean, if you guys get a chance to see that, and they use some of those commercials, those beef jerky commercials.
Jack Link.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're hilarious. Now
I do have a YouTube channel too. It's called Philo News 1, And if anybody wants to see, I've got about 80 of my 140 incidents listed on that channel. So if you like to look at Bigfoot stuff, I got a bunch there.
Okay. And then our last guest here that's on my screen wins the award for zooming the farthest. Zooming from the Nottingham in the United Kingdom, Jacqueline Dixon.
Hi everyone. I've done paranormal since about 2004 when I did my first ghost hunt, but more recently I'm really into it and I sort of go every week investigating and just been to some brilliant places, like great experiences. About 7 years ago, decided to have I kind of checked out mediumship and I went to development lessons, and now through being in a situation where I didn't realize anything was around me, I can now communicate to some degree with spirit, which is absolutely fantastic. But I'm kind of seeing like stuff which can be scary as well. You know, it gets quite graphic what you see and you're not really prepared for it. But yeah, thanks for inviting me, Wayne.
Yeah.
Great to meet you all.
You were never on WKTV, but you were on Cryptic Frequencies, my other show with Mama Mary Bassett. But
Yeah.
I keep track of you through Facebook, and you this summer went on an adventure where you went to Loch Ness
Yeah.
and in a castle too. What was the castle?
Yeah. Well, I went to a few castles. Basically, spent 2 weeks, me, my dog, and the tent, and headed up into Scotland and people from who I've met on Facebook and went and investigated with them. And I went onto the banks of Loch Ness because a few years ago, a guy actually left his 9 to 5 job and gave up and just went and lived on the banks of Loch Ness. So I actually wanted to meet and chat to him, but he wasn't around, which was a shame. But I'll try again next year. But yeah, just to do something like that's so cool, isn't it?
So Nessie didn't stick his head out while you were there, or her head.
I nearly went for a swim in there though. It was beautiful.
Oh yeah, that was fun. It was very beautiful and scenic. The
it's
pictures
gorgeous.
that you shared, right? What an adventure. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have that stuff here. We have the closest thing we have is lighthouses to castles, I guess, around here.
Well, there have been reports of sea serpent monsters in Lake Michigan and Lake Champlain. So we do have them, but not with the notoriety of the Loch Ness monster.
But also in Lake Superior.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And there's
the
supposed-
Ogopoco was in Lake Superior.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
I was about to say, and there's a legend of one in Lake Erie as well.
Most
So
of
it gets
them date
around.
back, yes, and they date back for well over 100 years. In fact, I found reports dating to the late 1800s that there have been reports of that. So we may have our own, but Loch Ness wins it.
Yeah. Shetan Noir is kind of the authority on that, lake monsters. And she will be joining us hopefully later on. I'll catch that and admit her. But you guys know one another somewhat. Phil, have you met any of these people before?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Other than your staff there.
Right. Phil was here. He was in the little studio that I'm in right now. Some of you have been here, have been in maybe both studios. They moved us to a bigger studio during the COVID to kind of separate us. Exie, I know, was here in the big studio.
Yep.
So Kat, you know Exie. Who else do you know? You know Bill. You've seen Bill Konkolesky at different.
Maria.
Weren't we on the other podcast together, Kat?
Yes, we
Yes,
were.
we were.
We
I thought I recognized you. I was like, I recognize her.
Oh, you probably need my, my water glass to be recognized. I always have that with me. Yeah, yes. And so I know a few of you. I don't know Jacqueline. I don't know Phil. Ben, I don't think I've met you.
Don't think so either.
Yeah, Kim, I don't know if we've ever worked together, but.
No, I don't think so either.
We
I don't think
will.
yeah, totally. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, some of you have been on as guests and also as co-hosts. Marie was co-host. I had all
Laura.
just angels
Yep,
of the
yep, I
industry
stuck-
on one show.
I was a co-host.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think I filled in for Kim once or twice when she was out with something,
Yeah.
so.
Sick or something.
Probably
Yep.
traveling.
Right.
Yeah,
Laura was the
probably.
co-host. When Bill was here, when they had
Yep,
us in
I remember
basically
Bill.
the break room. And,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and we had
Yeah.
those mics, those wireless mics. They had to come in every 10 minutes and put new batteries in them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, I
geez.
remember
I
that.
wonder what ghost was
Fly
in
from
there
another.
zapping your batteries.
Yeah.
They drained so quick. I'm like, I don't know where they bought these batteries from, but I didn't know how long the show was gonna last because the cutting and editing that they had to do because we kept stopping and starting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Nothing.
Glad that was before
disruptive about
Glad that was before I had to start doing the editing.
right.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, we took some liberties. Mostly, I took some liberties along the way to make these shows happen. I took some artistic practice an artistic license, and some of these things I borrowed poems and song lyrics. But the first show was with Shetan 3 years ago, and the only co-host I had was Ryan Mason, I asked him to join, but he's actually Brandon's friend. Brandon started out ghost hunting with him, and we did some ghost hunting together way back when. So we started out with 2 ghost hunters and a ghost buster. Brandon and I had been, there's the ghost buster there, Kim. She was doing a different kind of thing, her work. Kind of explain what you were doing, Kim.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, I started a little nonprofit organization called the Tulip City Ghostbusters. And the reason why I started something like that is because at that time, my very much younger special needs son was in love with the Ghostbusters. I mean, he was just a fanatic about the whole fandom of Ghostbusters. And it was at the Holland Civic Center. They had like literally their first annual Tulip City Comic Con. And there was a group of Ghostbusters there, probably about 5 or 6 of them, all in their Ghostbuster gear, proton packs, the whole 9 yards. And my son was like, that is what I want to do with my life. I want to be a Ghostbuster.
Love it. Love it.
And I'm like, well, let's make it happen. I don't care what I have to do. I'm going to make you a Ghostbuster. His name is Justin. And he's got some neurological problems and so forth with his disabilities. And the guys from that team were from Kalamazoo, and they welcomed us with open arms, and we did a lot of functions with them. They supported a lot of local charity events like burn camp for young people. And I was seeing what they were doing in their community, and I thought, why can't I just do that in my own community, which is Holland? So I broke off from them, started my own chapter of Ghostbusters, and then recruited a very nice following of other people that were like-minded, loved the fandom, loved to help people, loved charity work. So I was operating that for about, I don't know, at least 2 years, maybe longer than that. And then COVID hit, of course, and it kind of shut us all down. So when Wayne and I met, we met in Grand Haven at a Paracon of some sort, Para-Unity event put on by Grass. And we met there. And I also met Joe from 222 Paranormal. I don't think I met any of you guys there, but I met a lot of people in this industry at that one Paracon. But it wasn't until a little bit later that Wayne reached out to me and said, we need another co-host for our show. Would you be interested? And I'm like, heck yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. So like I had done some a podcast interview with Joe with 222 at the event. and that went really well. And so I've really enjoyed being with Wayne these last 3 years, and it's been a good friendship that we've established, and we've actually had some synchronicities over the years during guests where like him and I would get goosebumps at the same time, right?
Right.
Or we can read each other's thoughts almost, right? It's like we've got some sort of psychic, Wayne and I have a psychic connection that I can't explain to other people.
Kindred spirits.
Yes, is that what that's called?
Sure.
We are kindred spirits.
Yeah, that's when this synchronicity really started, was back with Grasp. They did that. And Todd Clements was there too.
That's right, Todd. Met
I
him.
bought his
Yeah.
2 books there. I was limited on cash, so I didn't get to set in on any of the lectures. But yeah, that's when Grasp and Connie Jones, when I got ready to,
Connie, yeah.
when I got ready to do this show, I called Connie and I said, you know, I'm trying to get a hold of some people, but they think I'm my wife, Brenda Thomas, because I'm using her Facebook and they won't answer me. So I'm sending messages out to Bill Konkolesky, and he doesn't know who I am. And
No.
I'm reaching out to Kat, and she's like, who are you? You're some stalker. I'm not even going to talk to you.
We get them, right? We get them. So I
tried to get Kat to come over here to Grand Rapids to the studio. And finally, Zoom happened because it was forced on us. And I thought, well, here's the perfect opportunity. So I read her book, you know, Stepping into Darkness, to start with, thoroughly digested this one, and then went over some stuff with her, and I think she decided I wasn't too bad of a stalker.
No, you weren't a stalker at all. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. No, now I'm the stalker.
Oh no, Kat is, you don't know that by looking at her, but she has a skewed sense of humor.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I love the paranormal. You know, you got to have a little
I was
humor.
about to say, I think everybody in the paranormal field has to have some sort of skewed sense of humor, because people look at us and judge us a certain way. So it's like, well, embrace it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't bother me at all.
I see all those things you post on Facebook, those cartoons, and it gets my funny bone because I have a skewed sense of humor also.
Well, you know, there's so much. I have 2 Facebook pages. One is my personal one, and then I have one for Haunted Travels of Michigan. So on my personal page, I throw out a lot of funny stuff because, man, you got to laugh. There's a lot of things on Facebook that are just so depressing and so stressful, and there's so much negativity. So I just throw out the memes that are funny, and hey, if you don't like funny, just move on.
Yeah. No, they're appreciated.
Yeah, Kat, your books have been described as true, unaltered, and accurate.
Yes.
And that's what I loved about them.
Thank you.
If you went to if you went to a location and you didn't find anything, you just went and said, hey, there was no ghost activity.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's a misconception I think that a lot of people have because they're watching some of the paranormal shows on TV, and every place they go to has activity. In reality, you know, my sister Bev and I probably went on, well, I know we went on over 330 investigations just in Michigan. And of all those investigations, I'd say maybe 10 or 12% did we record activity that we couldn't explain. And so the majority of cases you investigate are very quiet. And you know, the horrible part is you listen to the audio and you watch the video, and it's hours and hours and hours of audio and video, and you really have to focus on it. And many times, most of the time, you know, you can listen to 24, 40 hours and get nothing.
All right.
But that's what the book is about, you know, the most credible accounts that we could find of phenomena.
Yeah.
So,
very tedious work, but all of you that are here tonight, you're here because I found you to be genuine, authentic. Tanya, you're one of our newer friends, but I felt that about you. And then that's why I asked you also to be on Cryptic Frequencies so we could get to know you a little better there. And what I liked about you is you never charge.
Nope, I never have and I never will. That's why, like, work kids side jobs so I can afford to be able to travel and help people in need. It's one of those things that I've watched other psychics and other ones that have gotten big names, and they charge these astronomical prices, and it's like, but they need help. People need help.
We do.
And I've had sessions where I've sat at the bedside of a friend of mine's mother dying and helping her mother to come to the realization that heaven's not a scary place and her daughter will be fine. To being called names on an investigation. You never know what kind of
Jeez.
experience you'll have.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd rather be the one to open up my door and say, don't worry about costs. I'll be there to help you.
A quote from Kathleen's, one of Kathleen's books is, death is not death, it's life.
That's right.
And I think there's a lot to be said there.
Oh, one of my favorite things I've learned to start saying to people is we have an army, we just don't see it. We have people behind us helping us every day.
Oh, yeah. Well, we are Legion. We are Legion. That's we kept having that come over one of our apps when we were ghost hunting, Brandon and I. Brandon,
Yeah,
Brandon, we
bacon.
started out
Apparently
as
they really like bacon. I don't know.
yeah, bacon too. Bacon
Put a lot of
kept coming
stock.
through that
I
app.
really like.
So we stopped
Like
using
it
that app after that.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, it was bacon.
Yeah, kind of asking for bacon all the
Come
time.
on. What they have to do with ghost hunting?
Plenty.
I mean, if I were dead, I would really miss bacon. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, right. I know.
Well, Bigfoot likes bacon too, Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerky and jerky.
Their
Right.
favorite.
Yeah.
And
their favorite-
turkey.
That's right.
Now, Brandon and I, we started out as ghost hunters, but then he wanted to be more than that. You know, he wanted to be a paranormal investigator. He started getting into Bigfoot, and he knows some of your friends, Phil, because Brandon went up to Bigfoot training. Talk about Bigfoot training a little bit, Brandon.
Yeah, that was pretty fun when we went up there. It was the Rich Meyer and the Upper Peninsula Bigfoot and Sasquatch Research Organization. Went up there. I've done it 2 years now. I plan on trying to make it an annual thing to go up there and do the training.
So,
But-
Phil, you know Rich Meyer
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
and Jim Sherman.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
Okay.
spoken at our conference before.
Right, I thought so, at your Bigfoot conference there in Branch. And then Linda Pomeranke. Linda Pomeranke is one of your friends too, right?
Yeah, she's in part of our group. Yeah.
And
We're
then
doing a Zoom tomorrow night with our West Branch committee, but there are people from all over that are helping with the conferences and the expeditions and like that.
So shout out
Yeah.
to our Bigfoot buddies. You know, Phil, if you and I lived closer, we would have been hunting buddies. We would have done some rabbit hunting. I'm sure you would have got me out there doing some squatching, some Bigfoot hunting with you. But
Sure.
yeah, I mean, you drove all the way over here to West Michigan to be on our show, and I appreciated that. We filled this little studio with hairy bipeds for that show. It was fun.
Sure.
Yeah, good time. You're the only Bigfoot person we have. I realize that Brandon and I were ghost hunters, so maybe we aspire more to the ghost hunting. But one of the things that's the spookiest for me is this mediumship, and I think Exie can speak best to that. And Exie, what she taught me was boundaries. There's boundaries that we have to consider. Are you still with us, Exie?
I'm here. Yeah.
Want to speak about boundaries?
Boundaries are important in everything in your life. They let you have a life. Because spirit doesn't care. They want to be heard and they want you to know they're there. So you need to do parameters, boundaries, whatever you call them. I call them, sometimes I cover. I have a sports dome basically over my home. It goes over my home and under my home, just so that I can have a life and not have them bombard me 24/7. I love them. I appreciate them, But Aunt Gladys, you come into the house one more time and we've
Well,
got an issue.
You told us a story about you're in the shower.
Yeah, this guy, it was his face was just there. And I said some unseemly words at the time, rather loud. And so I hear this little knock at the door, and it's my husband, and he's checking, is everything okay? And everything's great now. And yeah, so I learned I had to block better than I was. And, I mean, you don't know until you know what they can do. And I'm sure there are spirits of some sort that think my boundaries are just pitiful and could blow through, but they don't. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'd like to just hang out with you because like wherever you go, there seems to be spirits.
There's always something, and they're so entertaining, and I love them. And but the boundaries, would be like, and I'll be in a conversation with somebody, and there'll be a face, and it's like, okay, so my crystals are dead apparently because that didn't work, and so yeah, you have to, it's a lot, it's like dealing with children.
Oh,
like
okay.
Having, it's like having a kindergarten class sometimes with you all the time. So you set boundaries, you set rules, parameters, whatever you want. And two, I've learned that, I was always open. And so I was exhausted and bringing everything in. So as I got more attuned and appreciated what was happening, I learned to close and enjoy the silence and the rest of.
Oh yeah. I suppose, you have to learn how to shut it off too.
Yeah.
Is that Tanya, the same with you? You think you got to shut it off sometimes?
Oh yeah, I have to completely bring myself down. I mean, my energy levels so low because you are a lighthouse. You literally are, it's like they go, ooh, somebody knows we're around and they will find you. They will find you. And it's like, no, back off. Nope, not the time. I mean, that actually recently happened to me where I wasn't paying attention, did not have my boundaries down. I was watching my daughter perform in a play, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, tap on my shoulder. I'm like, no, go away. Not the time.
Kind of like Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost once they found out that, she could communicate. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had him waiting in line. I've had people waiting in line to tell me their ghost stories when I've been at locations while the manager's telling me, oh, there's nothing here. There's nothing here for you. And yet the waitresses are lined up waiting to tell their stories.
Wow.
Well, Jacqueline, I know Jacqueline's into, mediumship. And so we have a couple pretty good ones here on the show to learn from.
I'm still learning. So
Do you have any questions for these psychic mediums, Jacqueline?
I'm kind of oblivious a lot of the time. It's only when I'm on investigations I tune in more than anything. But I was chatting to a friend the other day, and I told her about her family who was around her. But I don't usually kind of tune into that. I don't do sort of personal things, but I will do it on paranormal because I don't like people crying.
Oh, right.
When you give them you give them a message and they're crying, it's like, oh no, but I know it's good, but it's.
Well, that's the thing with that. A lot of times with people with gifts, the tears are therapeutic for them. It's not a bad thing always. I mean, yeah, they're missing that loved one, but there's something about them that's making them cry. So that I found out for my gift is I have to work with healing, the parameters of healing. What is going on with that family member that when you think of them, you're not smiling? Why are you crying? But if you're crying, are they happy tears or are they sad tears? So it's like trying to figure out the parameter of where the tears are coming from.
Okay.
And it's great when you find out they are happy tears because everybody will eventually think of somebody and then they'll start to cry, well up in tears and start crying happy tears. Yeah. I mean, my grandpa, I think I've talked about him before with you, where he likes to pull pranks and he will make me so mad that I will be crying happy tears, but yet I'm so frustrated with him.
Okay. Now, Exie, you've been to the Bridge of Sighs. I would think if there's any place in the world that maybe except for New York now, if I don't know if anybody's been to New
Yeah.
York after 9/11, but the bridge's size, what was that like?
Too funny. Somebody asked me that a couple weeks ago, and it was I had totally forgotten, and I shouldn't, because it was incredible. It's open, and then you go over this. Really, you do go over it's a bridge. It's covered, and there's bars, and it's over a canal, and it's your last look at Venice, anything Venetian out this window, and then you go to the right, and it's dungeons, and they're up because the water level's so high, but you go in there and it's just the feeling. Every step you took, you got closer. I felt like I got shorter and more closed in, and by the time I got in there, I just kind of had my arms around myself, and I couldn't talk. I looked in bursts. It was overwhelming. It was like being draped with a heavy cloth of sad and despair, death. You weren't coming out. They put you in places, oubliettes, and you died, and they forgot about you. That's why they put you there. So yeah, it was incredible. And you heard screams in your head, and it was male, it was female, children, didn't matter. And
Oh, wow.
I have a quick question. Were you
Yeah.
able to release any of those tortured souls?
At the time, that really didn't cross my mind because it was so overwhelming. And at the time, I didn't know I had that ability. I got that about a year later. Sadly, I want to go back. Venice is like, yes, please let me go back. But I'm so glad I didn't have the smell capabilities, because I didn't want anything that you knew was going to be bad wafting in. Just incredible. All of that. I mean, all of Italy was so haunted, and just fabulous. Venice, though, for me, was the most haunted.
If you ever go back, I'd be thrilled to see if you pick up anything at the Doge's Palace in Venice.
Yes.
When I was there, I went on a school trip my senior year of high school. We went all throughout Italy. Two places stood out. One of them was Doge's Palace, and that dungeon area down below. My friends were like pretending to like lock me in because it's just me and my friends. We're high schoolers. Like we're not going there. This is before I even started like any of my paranormal stuff. So like we're not looking for ghosts or anything.
Yeah.
So we're just playing around. And then my friend was taking pictures, and there's this like room that you can kind of see into behind a wall. And it's just like there's a few bricks missing. So she's able to like put her phone up in the bricks, and like, there's no glass or anything there. It's nothing reflective. Hopefully this shows up on Zoom, but there's a face in the photo.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's gonna.
It's not.
There.
Oh, yeah, we can see it.
That is amazing.
Yep, we
That
can
looks
see
almost
it.
Holy
like
crap.
the man in the iron mask.
Yeah.
Kind of look.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
it was this high school girl that took the picture. It looks nothing like her. And
Yeah, keep talking while you show it, because then
Oh, yeah,
keep
That
talking
kind
while
of
you're
gave
showing
me
it. 'Cause
chills.
yeah, keep
And then-
talking.
And then immediately
Oh
we
yeah, that's okay.
tried taking pictures again.
Nice.
Kind of comparisons. Nothing happened. Of course, I've been trying to reach out to like Italian, like Venice investigate, but like language barrier, it's very difficult. So yeah, that place really stuck out. What you're describing about the bridge of sighs, like that was sort of a bit of the I didn't get to see the bridge of sighs, but that was a bit of the feeling in that area to begin with.
We stayed in an apartment just across I forget what you call that, right? Because the palace was here and we were in an apartment like right behind the big clock that was there.
Yeah.
So the first night we get there, we're exhausted. I want to go to bed. My husband's in the living room watching Chips, the old Chips, in Italian on TV. I walked out there. I'm like, good night. So I go in our bedroom, and it's just a whole thing of windows, and I'm relaxing. So then the more you relax, and I opened up, the foot of our bed, this huge man started to pace, and he had that Venetian nose, and he was bald. He was magnificent. I mean, he had to have been 6'2". So back in the day, he would have been a giant. And he had on gorgeous clothing. He had a cloak on that was in the most beautiful blue, and I can't find that color. And it was velvet. And he kept throwing it behind him as he paced the foot of the bed. So I started to pick up on him, and he was in trouble. He was in intrigue and treachery, and got the tables turned on him, and he was going to die. And he knew it, and he was upset. He was just furious. He kept throwing his cape behind him. So I pulled the covers up over my head and went to sleep, because he wouldn't quit pacing, and I just didn't want to shut him out. He was too magnificent. So my husband came to bed, and he's looking, he's like, she hates that because I don't like to rebreathe, you know? And I told him, so I could hardly wait to go to bed the next night. We were only there for 2 nights, but he was back. He was still pacing. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Well, good input there on that. And Ben, if we give awards tonight, we've had some chuckles on these shows, but you are the funniest guest that we've ever had on the show, Ben. I mean, I don't know what it is, but you just seem to run into situations that are hilarious to me. The guy,
comical.
I don't know what it is about you. That guy, the story you tell about the mappers, the spirit mappers.
And then the funniest part, I want to reiterate this again. These are
Oh, go on.
the full story about the demon mappers and all that. Those were a bunch of 18-year-old freshmen in college, their second or third ever investigation. Somehow 5 years later, we're still doing it. Any normal person would have stopped right after that nonsense. But
yeah, Ben calls for an Uber driver to take him to a cemetery, and the guy gets there and he locks the doors and not going to let him out until he starts telling. Yeah,
because our only friend with a car at the time, because we just started college and they had a freshmen couldn't have cars, dumb policy, and our only friend who had a car, his car had gotten stuck in the snow because he had a Mustang that he thought he could drive in the snow, and that got stuck, and then he didn't have a car, so we had to take an Uber. And the Uber driver, because there was a place like 5 minutes away from us, but it was in the winter, and we weren't gonna walk like 30 minutes, and so we took a quick Uber, and the Uber driver locks his car, and it's this big 6-foot guy, and sort of intimidating, and he says, "Why are you going there?"
Yeah.
And we're like, Then he's like, reveals that he's a demon mapper, and he goes around telling us he goes around like putting on this map the most demonically active places in Michigan, and that where we were going was the second most demonic place ever been. And the first most demonic is just across the street, but we better not go there. So I was just taking notes like, oh, cool, we're gonna go there next.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, can you spell it?
Sign me up.
So we know how to avoid it at all costs.
I'm still trying to find that place. It makes me wonder about vortexes. I know it's come up on the shows. Actually, you've talked about vortexes. I don't know if there's vortexes for UFOs or for Bigfoot, but what do you guys think about that? You think there's certain geographical locations where more stuff happens than others?
Well, yeah, and then you bring in ley lines. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they all kind of go in there together. For me, I think they're kind of one. But also, I mean, I form vortexes because I forget, my abilities, and will be concentrating on somewhere and create a vortex in a wall. Or a little kid that doesn't know they have abilities, and they're open all the time, and so they form it at the head of the bed. Bizarre things. One in front of the toilet. One,
I do think we can form our own vortexes, and I think I've encountered a few cases where someone is so emotionally distraught, perhaps over the loss of a loved one, that paranormal, it's a catalyst for paranormal activity. And that individual, the very energy that they're generating from profound grief can create a vortex. So I do believe in energy vortexes, and, you know, you don't know what's going to come through that vortex. And that's what you have to be aware of. You know, whenever you call out the spirits of the dead, you know, especially if it's a loved one, you may get them back, but you're opening a tear and you don't know what can come through.
Yeah, well, I was like, Jacqueline, she's probably close to one of the best vortexes in the world. I mean, Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's a part of the ley line too.
Yeah, it is. I have been, I've only been once though. You do get a lot of people around there, but it's just beautiful energy coming from it.
I
haven't actually been inside the stone, but I've been to some stones called Callanish, and I think, well, they're in Scotland. I think it's Harris and Lewis. They're on those islands, and that's beautiful. And you don't get people there either, so it's just you and the stones, and it's wonderful.
Yes.
Shetan Noir is going to join us right now. So
everybody hide.
You guys know, a lot of people know Shetan.
UFOs too.
There she is.
Oh, I love your hair color. It's so pretty.
All right, what do we got? I gotta go find her. Where are you, girl?
Right. I can't see her yet.
Hey.
Hi, Shetan.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Shetan. Hello.
We've talked about you already.
Oh, really? Oh, my.
How could I not?
All good.
All good. Mostly.
Shetan is my star player, or our star player. Shetan's been on the show more than anyone.
Yeah.
She's our designated Halloween guest.
I'm going to miss that so much.
And what we do is, we just pick out topics for that when she's on for Halloween. But we never know what Shetan's going to talk about. Shetan was on episode 6, 16, 28, 34, 44, 48, 55. She's also on Cryptic Frequencies, and she co-hosted. I don't know how many shows you might have co-hosted, but yeah. And author, award-winning author like Kat. And your books are what in the background there, or those are your magazines? No, that's your big thing.
Lake Monster, Mothman.
Mothman.
And my company now, Squatch.
Yeah, I saw that.
Publications.
Well done. Well done.
Yep.
Yeah,
bravo.
Congratulations.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Now we like using this platform for authors. That's why there's so many of you I know are authors or going to be soon published authors. We never know what you're going to talk about, Shetan. You were on the very first show 3 years ago. Like I said, it started out, Ryan Mason was my co-host, and then Brandon and Kim came the very next show. And it's been a pleasure.
Hi, Phil.
Yeah, Phil. How many people know Shetan? I'm going to change views here and see if we can get the gallery looking. Oh, here's hands. Here's hands. Oh, look at. Yeah, a lot of people know Shetan because you're out and about, busy girl.
Yeah, I like that saying, never not working, because that kind of describes me. Like, even as I'm trying to fall asleep at night, my brain's going, hey, what about this idea? And it's like, oh, now I got to grab my cell phone and put something in. So yeah, never not working. And I'm always researching or investigating something. So, but let's talk about your show. I love your show, and I was always so thrilled to be a guest on your show. It made me feel so good inside knowing that somebody wanted me on their show. Yes, Dragon Lady.
There's one of the
Remember
Halloween
this?
pictures. Oh, Kim, I'm going to
Yeah.
change the view and then say something, then you'll be able to see it better. Say something, Kim.
Yeah, can you guys see this? This is
Yeah.
Shetan.
Oh.
This is pre-COVID. This is our
Yeah.
Halloween show pre-COVID.
Oh.
And her outfit, you guys, was all
Oh, yeah.
handmade.
Wow.
She made it by hand and it
Yep.
was like very lizard-like. What officially were you, Shetan?
The Dragon Lady.
Yeah.
Steel Dragon Lady. Yeah.
And you talked about Merman on that
Yeah.
show.
Yes, the Great Manitou Nibba of Lake Superior.
Oh.
So we were talking lake monsters before you came on. What I like about when you're on
My
our
favorite
show,
topic.
I can share it with everybody because a lot of the Bigfoot people, they don't want just ghost hunting show. They don't want that. But with you're on, we talk about Dog Man
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
because
It's all open.
go through your bio a little bit for us.
Oh, geez. Researcher, journalist, owner of Scotch GQ Publications. College, well, I guess you could call me the professor of the strange, because I teach at 2 community colleges, my courses on the North America or cryptozoology of North America and the paranormal history of the Great Lakes. So covering all of my favorite topics. I'm also the lead investigator for the Michigan chapter of the North American Dogman Project. I ghost hunt with Black Swamp Paranormal out of Perrysburg, Ohio. So I am always...
I'm a Ohio Ghost Hunters out of Toledo, Ohio.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, I go ghost hunting with John and Nadine's group. So they're my tribe. So we're always looking for things to go explore and do. So
Podcast is Liminal Abyss.
yep, Into the Liminal Abyss, which has been on hiatus for a little while, but it's I am taping episodes now, and so there will be some new stuff going up in the new year for people who want to listen to it. I usually offer doing written interviews and also to be a podcast guest for people who want to do interviews for my magazines.
Well, I'm glad you could join us. Like I say,
I'm glad to be here.
Star player right there. You got your own space on my screen. I don't know where you fit on everybody else's screen, but on mine.
Well, everybody looks like the Brady Bunch to me because I've got all the little squares.
Oh.
I see it. I wanted to get Bill's opinion because we were talking about the vortexes.
Okay.
About whether he believes UFOs or stuff could travel through if they have portals or a vortex that they can travel through.
Yeah,
There's some.
with regards, with regards to the comment about the having a portable or personal vortex, I really think that there's something to that when it comes to the UFO phenomena. Is that they don't need to seek out vortex areas. It seems that vortexes are reported or vortex-like phenomena in places you wouldn't expect. So I think that they're able to produce some sort of interdimensional portal when and where they actually need it. I think they can produce them.
On this show, I wanted insights and I want your secrets. It's my last chance for you guys because this is my farewell show. At least I'm going on hiatus for a while. Bill, in your books, you say you don't know where they come from, but who else can give us the best guess?
Yeah. So I recently came across a really great quote from Sir William Crookes, if I remember the guy's name. He was a big 19th century chemist, whatever. He was knighted for his being a scientist. I mean, he was that big of a deal back then, but he was problematic because he also investigated the paranormal. And so a lot of his peers are like, you're this great scientist, but how come you always investigate this stuff that's impossible? And his response I thought was great. He goes, "I never said it was possible. I only said it was true." So I think that's just perfect. I love that.
That's good.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to
Right.
think about that for a while. That's pretty deep. But you didn't say where they're from. Where'd they come
No.
from? Through a vortex. They've been here all along for centuries, I'm guessing. Time's irrelevant when it comes to UFOs, I think, and how old the universe is, how old
So-
we are.
So this way of thinking that I've had, this is one of those phenomena there. The more you learn, the more questions you have, not more answers.
Okay.
And this way of thinking that I'd had, one of the great investigators out there, Paula Harris, she has this expression, all of the above. And so people, Pepper, are like, are they from outer space? Are they time travelers? Are they from another dimension? Are they this? Are they that? And she goes, all of the above. And so I think that about fits where I'm at. It's impossible to pin down anything that's exclusively true about the phenomena when it comes to people with a wide variety of different way they experience the UFO and the contact phenomena. It's almost frustrating. People, will come up to somebody with a lot of years in the game, as I do, and say, tell me something and I'm like, well, the more I'm in it, the less I know. So,
Oh, no.
but it makes it's never a dull moment.
Okay. Well, if you guys don't know already, Bill was abducted at 2 years old, and then probably every 2 years after that, through his 20s, maybe even more recently, we learned on our last show with you, Bill. And then what you told us was, you don't think they're done with you.
No, not by a long shot. And in Michigan, we have an experiencer group of people that it's a support group in one way of putting it. And a lot of the members of this particular group had said the same thing, like all of our experiences just sort of dropped off at the same time. But now everybody's had their experiences pick back up again for whatever reason. It was dormant for many of us, and now it's very active, and that is a little bit startling, because why did it pick up again all of a sudden? Is that meaningful? I don't know. Like, it's another of the mysteries. You have to learn to embrace the mystery.
Okay.
We need to have a conversation, because while you were talking, I literally had a vision that was a little unsettling, that I think I know why the activity is starting to pick up.
Can you
and
share?
Laura Briggs predicted on this show that within the next year and a half, 2 years, it will be obvious to everybody. And now the government is at the point where they're going to start sharing information. So maybe it will become more obvious. I'm not sure. Hopefully,
they already have. Yeah, they already have started to kind of let some of that in there. But
Right.
I totally agree with Bill, and I love that. The more you get into it, the less you really know. I think that's so true. But what I'm picking up, or what I've been getting, is that the frequency of the Earth has changed. And that those vortexes that you guys are talking about are just dimensions that are now being able to be accessed. I mean, we are one micro tiny particle in a huge galaxy of many, many, many things. And I think those incidences are picking up because the frequency of the Earth has changed. Our bodies are changing. The frequencies that we get are changing. And the sound and the frequency is the way that I've understood it, that travel is beginning to become available.
See, about sound. I've had a lot of people come
It's
to
the
me
sound
and
is the
go,
key. It's the key.
why am I hearing a higher octave?
Yep.
Yeah,
all of a
it's the
sudden
key.
it's getting worse.
If you don't know what your own soul note is, what your own soul resonates at, I would highly suggest people consider finding that out. It's going to ground you, but it's also your authentic frequency, and you will be able to attract, you'll be able to hear, you'll be able to understand other things that resonate at your frequency. And the healing, we can heal through frequency, we can travel through frequency, we can do, the pyramids they suspect were built through sound. I mean, think about it. That's something untapped and something pretty new to us in the 3D world. So it's
You get
another key, I
messages
don't think. Yeah, absolutely you can. And I
through the
think that,
frequencies.
yes, absolutely. So it's a big key to whatever's coming up for us next. Absolutely. And I mean, you guys are getting it, but I would highly suggest other people, investigate that and look into that. There's another piece that we don't know yet, that's there yet.
I think there's a connectedness. We've talked about the connectedness between these different fields, these different areas of the mysterious. And I'm wondering, are we in agreement that UFOs, that's going to be the field that's going to jump forward? Or is it going to be Bigfoot? We're going to have new developments in Bigfoot, where Bigfoot's obvious to everybody. Phil says there's enough evidence. If it was a murder case, it'd be guy would be convicted. That's how much evidence is out there for Bigfoot. What area is that's going to jump forward?
Well,
you mentioned sound.
Yeah.
I suspect UFO, if the US government and other governments around the world start releasing the information, that'll be the hot button, I suspect.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What are you
So
saying, Phil, about sound?
Yeah, in the Bigfoot research, they think Bigfoot is capable of talking on infrasound,
right,
which is below the frequency that we can hear. So I think that's something that's fairly becoming well known. But also, you mentioned portals and vortexes. We had a guest speaker along with Shetan this last April. She, her grandpa had habituated a group of Bigfoot in Tennessee a number of years ago, but she was able to get pictures of the portal. She thought she had like a trail cam picture of portals.
Wow.
I believe that was in Tennessee.
I'd like to see that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
really cool.
I ask for secrets and insights. This is your last chance. So anybody has any that they want to reveal now, come forward.
There's
I
so little, when you do whatever you're doing in the paranormal field for so many years, you learn certain truths, and there are certain truths in the paranormal field. But there's so many things that are still questioned. That's why it's still paranormal. And it's kind of, you need to experience it yourself. I think when you share someone, well, this is probably not true, you have to experience it. But I think each one of us here have learned things that we didn't think about. We've debunked or disproved certain things that we once thought were true. And that's what makes you grow. And it's the experience that allows you to expand on that. And I think each one of us probably can share that. Yes?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. And Wayne, I always said that to you before, and I still maintain this to people. Just because you want to see dead people doesn't mean you can't.
Oh, yeah.
I think that some of
Exactly.
everyone has their own individual special gift, special skill, inherited trait. It's in your DNA, whatever you want to say, to be able to do these special gifts. Some of us are just like multitasking or multi-talented, but you can learn these things. But just because you want something doesn't mean that that's what your purpose, your gift, or your thing is going to be. And I think for folks, especially when they look and they say, oh, you can do this, you can do that, yeah, maybe I can, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but you can't force that. No. Those experiences are so critical to your learning, to advance you and to get you open and aware to get to that point.
Right.
So it's just building on what we've talked about already, so that's always my biggest quip, because they say, oh, you're a medium, can you talk to my grandma? And I'm like, no, not if she doesn't want to talk. It's not how it works.
Right.
They don't understand that,
I know.
She does want to talk, but she doesn't have the right energy at that point.
That's right. It just doesn't happen because you demand it to happen.
She may not want to talk to you. She wants to,
Yes.
It's like, I've had that happen. Well, they don't want to talk to me. I'm sorry. They want to talk to you, and they are talking to you. You just have, you just have to pay attention. I know But for me, the thing that's going on is sound and vibration and frequencies. I used to be able, because when I was a kid, I never saw a spirit that had anything below the knees. So I started to question that and look at that, and it was vibration and it was levels. So I was like, I could see 6 levels, and then I could see 8, and now I could see 12 to 15 levels of vibration and like splits and breaks. And now everybody's full figured and everybody's full dimension, and it's amazing. But now I hear sound with that.
That's interesting that you guys bring that up.
Yes.
Sound and music. I kind of proposed that before on a
So cool.
show. Marie, I thought maybe we should use you as a phone a friend on our Halloween show because of your background, your education. And I did a thing where I mixed up elements. For our final thought, I gave each person 2 elements. And there were 11 elements, Marie. And 99% was made up of oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, calcium, and phosphorus. That was 99% of the mixture that went in the pot. We stirred it up. And then I added just 0.85% sulfur, potassium, sodium, chlorine, and magnesium. What did we make? And I thought maybe Brandon should use you for phone a friend.
Phone a friend. Frankenstein, maybe.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah, because that's what goes into a person.
Yeah, right. Well, I've been out of the medical field for a while now. They used to call it, they had that mnemonic for it. It was called CHANS, plus sodium, and I think it's sodium. But that's what the elements that make up the human body.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to be tested.
Yeah. I thought Brandon should use you as phone a friend. I know.
did not know there were going to be a pop quiz. So.
Right. So how's your book coming? When's it going to be released? You got a release date?
No, I don't. It's doing pretty good. I've got 13 chapters, and I'm working on getting the photos and things together. So I'm still working with Paranormal Muskegon and kind of getting the word out about the book, and posting your stuff and things like that. I excuse me, I had a chance to get up to Paracon. Shetan was gracious enough to let me tag along with her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So had a really good time. Talked to Bill there. He's my former MUFON boss.
Right.
And bought his book, which I'm still reading.
Now tell us the title of your book that's coming out again.
Haunted Muskegon.
Haunted Muskegon. I'm looking forward to that. Exie's got a new book out. I said I might come back, and they may even open up the studio here if when you release your book, or if Exie wants to come over with her new book after I read it. I might come back out of hiatus for something like that. If that's what it's going to take. Otherwise, you're not going to see me for a while. But
you're still around. You're still going to be around.
Yeah.
We know where to get you.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed being on your show, and I enjoyed seeing you last time when you came to Muskegon and hung out with me, you and your wife.
Oh yeah, we went over to Muskegon and saw your friend who was a singer-songwriter.
Yep. Yeah, he does a great show.
I would do that again. My wife and I, we liked that. That was a lot of fun. We went over, and I knew I didn't care if we were going over anyway for this last show, but we went over. But I'm going to follow the format to the end. So we're going to do a shout out. Our previous guest was 222 Paranormal.
Joe and Jen. Woo!
Joe and Jen Shortridge. So Joe's out of the hospital. He's doing good. I know a lot of you guys are friends with him. So
good.
He sounded good. He looked good. He kept showing us his scar. But yeah, he came close to it. So we asked him if he had any near-death experiences while he was there in the hospital. He then shout out to those guys. Bill and Connie, they got me started years ago. They were invited, but they're not here. But Grasp, Bill and Connie Jones. My Bigfoot people I talked about already, Linda Pomranke, Rich Meyer, the Upper Peninsula Bigfoot Sasquatch Research Organization, and Jim Sherman. I never met Jim. There's people I wanted to do shows with. It didn't happen. May come back for that. But upcoming, ongoing with us, we got our Facebook out there, Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters Paranormal Podcast, Facebook. Kim's going to keep that going.
Yep.
We're on TV, so you guys will all be on TV again on Comcast, Channel 25, Uverse 99. I'll try to let you guys all know when that happens. And then I'm still writing articles for WKTV Journal. Exie, I haven't written an article on you yet. I'm saving the best for last, apparently.
Well, thank you very
So
much.
we'll do that. I'll do that. I'll have an article on you coming out. I don't know when. It's trying to, they limit me on words, and there's a lot more I can say about you. The 3 books, now 4 books that you've written. What's the title of the new book, Exie?
Dialogue with the Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Cool. That's awesome.
Nice.
Nice.
Exie wins the award for the best names of her books, the best titles. Welcome to My Paranormal Life, When the Dead Come Calling, and The Essence of Death. Those just draw you in, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, they draw you in, make you want to read them. So I did. I read them all except for the new one. I'll check it out without a doubt.
All right.
Yeah. For upcoming, we're at the end of the year, so I'm guessing you guys don't have a whole lot left in the year to do. If there's something wild going on, speak up right now.
I'm just working on a few other books, so.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I got 2 others. Haunted Romeo, because we did a 3-year investigation, our team, that covered the entire town of Romeo, and I've got some great stories and the investigations. And then Abandoned Places and Haunted Spaces.
Ooh.
Oh, I like that title too.
Ooh, I like that title.
It's
Right.
gonna take me around Michigan for that, so it's a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to it.
Now, just by yourself? Are you co-authoring this?
I have a couple, I will be doing it by myself this time, but I do have a couple of cohorts that are going to be helping me with the investigation. So, and more adventures are coming.
Excellent. And you've worked with a lot of ghost hunting teams too.
Wonderful,
Along
wonderful.
the way, right? I like that. Anybody else writing a new book?
I know with the new parent, well, it's not really new. I've been with them before. We are working towards, we will be at Parapsychon at Mansfield Reformatory in May. So
Okay.
it's pretty much one of the things we're
One second.
investigating, gathering, so we can have some fun stories to say when we're there.
Okay. Phil, you haven't been out there with collecting scat and bringing it home and put in your refrigerator lately, have you?
Oh, man.
Not just lately. We are working on a conference May 14th, so we're going to have another Bigfoot conference here at West Branch. Right now, we got Ken Gerhard and Rob Kiter planning to come. We're
All
gonna
right.
Get another couple speakers. Yep.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yep.
Who
Well,
knows?
I
Maybe
got- I
I'll
got
make it
the-
to some of these Paracons or some of these events sometime. Brandon, he's got something going on.
Yeah, so yeah, the Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters podcast is continuing on. Shout out to our guests in our next episode, Jill Shelley and Teresa Christensen of St. Croix Paranormal out of Minnesota. Talk about a lot of their investigations, including the Vasilla Axe Murder House and
Ooh.
Ashmore Estates in our upcoming episode. So
One
and-
day I'd like to get to that house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me
did
too.
you say the Boyd House,
Yeah, the
Brandon?
Boyd House, which they
The Boyd.
purchased. So they have their
Yeah,
own-
they actually purchased their own haunted house.
Nice.
This paranormal investigation team called St. Croix out of Minnesota, they actually purchased their own haunted house.
Oh,
This is really
Sweet.
cool. Good stories.
sounds interesting.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be waiting for
And
that.
I just wanted to add too, like you can find all the old Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters episodes on my YouTube channel, say Paranormal History Productions, or you can just search for Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters. You'll be able to find the channel there.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm liking all the archival stuff too. You've been posting like the old home
Yeah.
videos and stuff.
I'd
Yeah, I
like
got
to
a
know
lot
more
of-
about your movie, Ben.
Well, I was just gonna say the movies. well, I keep pushing back the deadlines, right? So we filmed it last winter, wrapped up. We started around January, finished around April, and then I missed a Halloween deadline, and like who releases a paranormal movie like the first week of November? So was waiting for Christmas, but not gonna hit that because I don't know where December went. So hopefully top of the year, January, maybe February. Got a movie coming out. We'll probably see a digital release online. Really embracing the winter aesthetic, and also part of the so the film centers around me and my team, while also like using our scariest, most profound investigation as sort of like the backdrop to tell that story. And we went back many times. The last time we went back, we actually had an experience that had me really thinking about it during the whole talk about the frequencies and everything. We heard something, this won't be in the movie at all, but we heard this whistle right between the two of us. Like literally we were like a foot away, and right in the center of us was this whistle. Gave the biggest chills ever. Is in this frequency we never even heard before. It didn't show up on any of the cameras either, so made all of our hair stand up. It was wild. But that's the last memory I have of filming that movie, and it has to do with what we were talking about tonight about frequencies and sounds. So that's pretty cool.
As long as Ben's been doing this, he remains skeptical.
Yeah.
He's still doing it, so he may change that opinion sooner or later.
Well, I always say, just like we were talking about how like the more you do it, the more questions you have instead of answers. And the more I do it, the more skeptical I become. So.
Right.
I do too. I do too. Absolutely more skeptical. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ben should know that Bigfoot are very good whistlers in case there was a Bigfoot in the neighborhood.
Oh yeah, maybe.
There you go.
We went squatching once, and one of my friends is really into Bigfoot. He was whistling. So.
Yeah.
Very
and
cool.
I hate to do this. I know we're almost at the end of the show, but I have another call to take. So I have to leave. The phone went off and I got to call.
Yeah, this is the end, really, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm going to do a
thank you, Wayne.
Inspirational
Wayne,
thought.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna-
Wayne.
Thank you, Wayne.
Yeah,
Been a
I'm going to say
pleasure.
goodbye to Kat because she's got to go off, but I want to do the inspirational thought because I have to
Bye,
end
Kat.
with this. And
Nice
Bye.
meeting you. Bye.
bye.
Nice to see you again.
I got two of them, and too bad Kat just left because I think she would have had the answer to this. But so you have brains in your hand, and you have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. Any idea who wrote that?
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
I was just about to say that.
Dr. Seuss. Yeah, good one, Bill. I thought Kat may get that one too. So this is my last inspirational thought, and that one was for you guys and everybody out there. This inspirational thought's for me. I got an inspirational thought for myself, and it's from Dr. Seuss. And it says, "Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened." So
I
I'm
love
so
that.
glad.
That's awesome.
Very
There
nice.
you go.
I'm so glad
I
this
love
happened.
Dr. Seuss quotes. One of my
Yes.
favorites is his unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
Aw.
It's been my pleasure these last 3 years. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank
Wayne.
you.
Family-owned Palermo Pizza underwrites this episode of Grand Rapids Ghost Hunters Paranormal Podcast, located at 901 Gazan Parkway, Southwest Wyoming, and available at 616-531-8300.
The opinions expressed in the preceding program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.